Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. I apologize, my voice is a little hoarse today because yesterday was Brooklyn Pride and it was a bit loud and I did some shouting to be heard by my friends, so my voice is a little bit not great. This week I went to see Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, which it's the follow-up to the surprisingly delightfully charming Bumblebee, except that this isn't nearly as surprisingly delightful. This felt more like a Transformers movie. There's a lot going on. There's like the quest where the good Transformers want this key so they can get home to their planet, and the bad Transformers want the key so they can open a portal so the planet-eating Transformer can eat Earth, and it's just, let's have lots of fight scenes and action. They try to have human characters that interact with the Transformers, so they have some like humor and charm and like heart. Like the lead guy has a little brother who has, health problems, and it's like, oh, woe is me, and he wants to try to help, and they try to give them character, but it's sort of like, it doesn't really work, not in the way it did in Bumblebee. Because Bumblebee was more focused. It was one human, one Transformer. You got to spend time and develop the characters, and you cared about them, and you were like, this is a good movie. You ripped off the Inner Giant, but it's fine. Steal from the best. With this, it's very much a Transformers movie. You've got good Transformers, you've got bad Transformers who are not Autobots, they're like terror somethings. Then you've also got these animals, the Maximals, that are Transformers that don't turn into vehicles, they turn into animals. And it's a lot, and there's a lot of exposition and lore, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not a huge Transformers fan, so a lot of it was lost. I'm just like, whatever. The kid in the row in front of me was delighted by the whole thing, so good for him. It's probably great for kids. I just found like it was a lot, and it was just crazy, and I didn't really care about what was happening. But, because it's a lot of action, and admittedly, some of that action looked really good in IMAX 3D. The 3D was pretty good, but you don't really care about what's happening. It's just sort of happening, and you're just sort of like, okay, whatever. It's a lot. And I don't know how they got Michelle Yeoh to voice the bird, but I hope she got a good paycheck for however much work she had to do. The voices are pretty good, except for I'm assuming, like, there's this Transformer named Mirage, who's like the main Transformer that connects you to the, meets the humans, and, seems to be, they want this one to be like this one's Bumblebee. This is our charming, fun Transformer that's funny and cute. Except that Mirage is voiced by Pete Davidson. And so he is not funny and charming. He's actually kind of annoying and a little irritating. So, your mileage may vary. If you find Pete Davidson funny, more power to you. You might like Mirage. I found him a little annoying. Whatever. So if you want to see an action Transformers movie with lots of, CGI robots fighting the hell and blowing each other up and stuff, enjoy. I can't really recommend it. I can recommend Bumblebee. Definitely Bumblebee. When I saw it, I recommended it in this podcast, and I said, Bumblebee is surprisingly charming and good. For a Transformers movie. This just feels like a Transformers movie with lots of CGI action, and it's just spectacle, and you're just like, whatever. And I would recommend seeing it in 3D because it'll help make the spectacle even more spectacular. But it's just sort of average. It's just sort of there. Like, I didn't hate it, but I don't need to see it again. As for games, as I mentioned in the last episode, I finished the Great Ace Attorney, and I decided I wanted to check out some of the bonus content, and those little escapades I had hoped might be like little mini games or little interactive scenes. They were not. They were just little dialogue scenes that happen like after each trial. I guess it unlocks one. I didn't check as I went. When I finished the whole thing, I went in and looked, and they were all unlocked. So I think they probably unlocked as you go. And they're just cute little dialogue scenes that have some more of that like humorous charm. They're fine. And then there's there's an art gallery, which I really enjoyed, where it takes you through both games, and it basically shows you all the characters, and it has all these character development sketches, and there's text from the designer saying, like, this is how this character was designed, and this is what I was going for with here, and this is what I originally did, but it had to change to this because of that, and it was fascinating, and I found that really informative and cool. It was basically like a little digital version of, a Great Ace Attorney Chronicles art book. And you could remove the text and you can like zoom in on the art, and that was really cool. I enjoyed that a great deal. I went through that every single one. There's also some videos which are just they're basically like promo videos from Japan promoting the game before its release, and they're amusing and cute, but I've only watched a handful of them. I'm like, like they're just promoting the game, so it's not like story of any kind. So I'm just like, but they're cute, and it's nice that they included all of this just for fun. But also, as I mentioned last episode, I bought Gotham Knights on sale, and I started playing that. And having played it for a week, I can safely say that I agree with the mixed reviews that I saw when it was first released last year. It is a bit of a mixed bag. The characters are terrific. Like the story, the dialogue, the performances, the animation, like all the character stuff is terrific. When you go back to your hideout in the Belfry and the 4 characters are interacting with each other in the wake of Batman's death, trying to solve his last case and whatever, like that stuff is really great. They really nailed it on the head. They hit the nail on the head with that one. Really good stuff. It's the gameplay where it starts to kind of lose its way a bit. It's like they said, let's take the Batman Arkham games and do that with 4 characters, but not as good. There's 4 characters. You have Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Red Hood, and they all have their own separate abilities and skill trees so that, you can play, like, I've been leaning towards Batgirl because she has hacking abilities and like more stealthy stuff, and that's how I kind of like to play the Batman games. And like Red Hood is much more of like a big brawler guy with guns that shoots. But you can pick who you want and play. Like I feel like each character has its own kind of style, so that one of them should suit the way you want to play the game. And hopefully at no point does it say, oh, you need to play this one as Red Hood, because then I'm going to be like, crap, and then I've got to go in and I've got to because they all level up together, so like any experience that you earn goes to all the characters, so they all level up together. You don't have to play them to level them up. I'm playing Batgirl, Red Hood is leveling up at the same time, but you then would have to go in and you'd have to spend his skill points and then upgrade his armor and his weapons and everything, and that's kind of before you go out on patrol, so that you would be properly ready. So that would be kind of annoying. So I'd rather not have to play as somebody, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But the actual gameplay it's like the first thing I did, you leave the Belfry and you're on the rooftop, and I use the grappling gun to go from rooftop to rooftop to rooftop, and I'm like, and then I ended up being kind of high up, and I was like, well, I can't grapple down there, it's too far away, I'll just glide. Except, I was like, wait, how do you glide? And I looked in the controls and the options, and looking at the control map, and I was like, there's no button for glide, what the hell? And I'm like, can you not glide like you could in the Arkham games? What the hell? The grappling and the gliding is how you got around. You can glide, you just have to unlock it. Thankfully, it's not that hard to unlock, because you basically just have to play the game. And after solving a certain number of crimes and defeating a certain number of mini bosses, the only thing you have to specifically actively do is go to do a training session for a specific skill, and then once you've done that, then you have unlocked gliding. So it's not hard, but it's just sort of annoying that you even had to unlock it at all. But whatever. That's the one thing that's irking me, is traversing the city. It's not great. The Spider-Man games got it really well. Web swinging around was flawless and fun, and it was terrific. Here, it's a little annoying getting around, because grapple hooking your way around the rooftops is, awkward and not great. And then there was one time where I was playing and there was a crime that I wanted to stop that was in like another borough of Gotham across a bridge and everything. And I was like, I can't grapple my way across all that. It'll take me like an hour. So I finally said, fine, I'll use the stupid bat cycle. I hadn't used the bat cycle because in the beginning tutorial mission, they show you the bat cycle and you have to use the bat cycle to get to the location. And it like, there's like cops and there's roadblocks and you have to go around or you have to jump over them and it's like a pain in the ass. And I'm just like, let me stick to the rooftops. But I was like, I'm not going to grapple my way all the way over there. That'll take forever. So I used the motorcycle. I got up there and it was fine. Like, it was actually kind of boring. There were no roadblocks, no cops, no nothing. I just drove there and it happened and that was it. I was like, all right, well, that was not too bad. But getting around, it's not as smooth and fun as, say, in the Spider-Man games. And then also, in the Spider-Man games, when you're navigating around Manhattan and you see a street crime, you can stop a mugger or a carjacking or whatever, and it makes you feel like a superhero. In this game, in Gotham Knights, you see a street crime, you go to stop it, and you might get your ass handed to you by the big guy. And that's kind of annoying. And I'm like, I don't want to have to lower the difficulty to easy. I should be able to play this on normal, especially since it's only just started. Because like the structure of the game is weird. Like you have this big, Gotham is a huge map, but it doesn't feel like an open world because the way the game is structured is you're in the Belfry during the day and you upgrade your you do your character bits and you upgrade them and you get them better weapons and armor and you craft weapons and armor. Then you go out on your nightly patrol. So Gotham is always dark and rainy and dark. And you basically, there's a main mission that you can do, but then there's also like various street crimes you can discover. There's like, the secret items like batarangs and secret caches that you can uncover throughout the city. And then there's premeditated crimes that you've uncovered by stopping the street crimes. You get clues that give you the premeditated crime. So there's a whole bunch of stuff to do. And you don't have, so I was like going to the mission and stopping things on the way. And then I was like, you know what? I need to level up more. Let me do the side stuff. But then I would do the side stuff and I get my ass handed to me. I'm like, well, I was going to do the side stuff on my way to the mission. But then I was getting my ass handed to me and I'm like, I'm out of health packs. I have to go back to the Belfry and call it a night and I'll do the mission tomorrow because I can't, So it's sort of weird and it ends up not feeling like an open world game, even though it is an open world sandbox city that you can explore because of the structured okay, here's your nightly mission, go do this mission and stop these crimes and then do the mission or whatever. So I've been doing the crimes and not doing the mission for a while because I wanted to level up some more before I went to see the Penguin. And also, it doesn't feel like an open world because I don't want to explore Gotham City. Because Gotham is all just a big city. It's not like, it's not like Red Dead Redemption where you're like, oh, let's go see what's in the desert, or let's go see what's up in the mountains, or what's over by this lake. Here it's all just city. And it's not even like the Spider-Man Manhattan where it's like, oh, let me go explore over here to see this or that, and the neighborhoods look a little different. Here, everything is just dark and wet and whatever, and it doesn't feel like a place you want to explore because everything is very samey. It's just dark and the neighborhoods don't look any different, to me anyway. So meh. And I also, it's also weird the way that you can, if you level up while you're out on patrol, you can spend your skill point and get a new skill, and then you're also, as you defeat the street crimes, you get blueprints for new costumes and armor and weapons. And then you also get the supplies that you need to craft those weapons and armor. But you can craft them while sitting on a rooftop, but it's apparently crafting it back at the Belfry and you can't actually use that new weapon until you go back to the Belfry. So it doesn't, you have to go back to your base and then go back out again. So that's why it doesn't feel like a continuous open world thing. It feels like, okay, now it's the next day and you have to do it again. So that kind of disrupts the whole open world feel of it. But it's not bad. It's just not great. It's not like, woohoo, best Batman game ever. I am glad that I only paid $20 instead of $70. I will say that. But it isn't what it could be. It's not what you'd like it to be. It's not terrible, but it isn't amazing. But for $20, I think I'll get $20 worth of enjoyment out of this. So I'll shut up now and let you go and come back next episode and see if I've changed my opinion on Gotham Knights or not. Probably not. See you then. Bye!